Thank you, Chair. Chair, we need to remind people that we are a sovereign country and our sovereignty must mean complete independence. Any country that gives us aid must supplement our own initiatives as a country. We must never allow aid to be used to undermine our national interest. The halting of aid by the US is in response to us addressing historical injustices of land dispossession, which is widely recognized. Therefore, it is clear aid is not really about genuinely helping a country. It is about managing a country to govern itself in a manner that serves the imperialists. We should never allow our sovereignty and national interest to be undermined by those who give us aid. Those who give us aid want the status quo of inequality, poverty, landlessness, unemployment, and all the evils of apartheid to remain unchanged. We need to close ranks and unite and pursue total transformation of our country. We can't be dictated by other countries on how we must correct our domestic problems that emanate from the over 400 years of colonization and apartheid. We are in this position of aid being used to manage us because we don't own the land, the natural resources, and the economy of our country. We are still conquered even though we got democracy in 1994. What we must do now is to leverage our mineral resources instead of begging for validation and money from the US. Why are we even needing aid, yet we are rich in mineral resources? Why is the mineral wealth of our country not owned by the state on behalf of the people? Why is the wealth of our country owned by the Americans, the British, and the Europeans? Yet in the communities, when the minerals are mined, there is poverty and disease. We must be a generation that corrects this. The mineral wealth of the country must be owned by South Africans so that we never need aid from anyone. But make no mistake, this is just the beginning. Today it is aid. Tomorrow Trump will move against trade. We must be prepared because the US wants to keep South Africa and Africa in a position of economic submission where our prosperity is always tied to their approval. We cannot allow this. We must aggressively expand our trade relationships beyond the US market. The African continent presents immense opportunities. The BRICS alliance is open for business. Why should we continue to rely on those who see us as nothing than a pawn in their global chess games? Lastly, Chair, if the country was serious, AfriForum and Solidarity would have been long charged with treason. GNU, Niwasaba, Ni Amabu.
Honourable Member, your time has now expired. Thank you. The next speaker is the Honourable Abrams.
Thank you, House Chair. This decision to withdraw US aid represents a critical moment for South Africa. It is a moment that calls for unity to work together to overcome this healthcare crisis. The Democratic Alliance has consistently advocated for foreign policy that puts the well-being of South African citizens first and advances South Africa's strategic interests while fostering productive international relationships. Over the past decades, this has not always been the case, and now we face the rapid dismantling of 2 decades of progress in healthcare, particularly in HIV and AIDS and TB, along with the closure of the UN World Food Programme in Johannesburg and the withdrawal of aid to NGOs that provide services to refugees and asylum seekers like the Scalabrini Centre just across the road. For millions of citizens, this is not about politics, it is about survival. When you wake up each day fighting to exist, debates about ideology or whether aid comes from the East or the West mean nothing. The impact on vulnerable households is devastating. The impossible choice between food or electricity, school shoes or transport now becomes a debate between medication or death. While certain political parties may welcome the withdrawal of Western influence and funding, remember, it is not anyone at this podium or in this dome who will suffer. It is the orphan child in the rural clinic, denied life-saving treatment, the young mother unable to access prenatal ARVs, the family solely dependent on their grandmother's social grant denied access to TB treatment, the approximately 15,000 jobs and counting which will be lost, affecting 15,000 households. House Chair, the reality of the matter is that babies will be born with HIV and lose a parent or both to a preventable disease. Crucial services offered by NGOs in health education, emotional and psychological counseling, regular HIV testing, and awareness programs will be significantly reduced, running the dangerous risk of defaulting back to the days where the medical advice from the government at the time was garlic, beetroot, and the African potato, or worse, that showering after sexual intercourse will minimize the possibility of contracting HIV. And while provinces attempt to mitigate the impact of expanding services for collection of ARVs at public healthcare facilities, many will not go for fear of stigmatization. Does government honestly believe that orphan children with HIV will make their own way to clinics? This was the crucial role filled by now defunded NGOs. Where will we find billions of rands to fill the gap? Now